Delaware in the building. Y'all ain't ready for the Delaware takeover. Y'all not ready for this unique style and creativity that everybody in the world wants to see. Lize and Jay is bringing it, and everything they bring got that Delaware swag.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody, Lize and Jay here, and we are with Lize and DJ, and they are here to talk about their new exhibition happening at the MKT Gallery on November 1st, 1994. Oh, I see what I did there. It sounded like I said November 1st, 1994. No, the exhibition.
You're taking it back. You're taking it
back.
Oh my goodness.
And my question is, what y'all know about 1994? These young people up
That's
in
when
this
they
building.
became alive.
Right. This feels like me doing a show like 1968. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
Right.
Born and bred, molded by it.
Right.
Okay. So let's start from the very top of this. We know you. The audience knows you because you are Delaware famous. We love her. Lize, we know that you have had a few different exhibitions over the years. So tell us about your portion of the show.
Okay. Well, we actually met at my Skin Deep exhibition in 2022.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of connected from there. And a couple months later, he reached out to do 1994.
Okay.
And
was it originally called that?
Okay.
Wow.
This is the second installment.
Yeah.
So we talked about it. He had, his stuff lined up. He told me what he wanted to do. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, do what you want. So I decided to take on the more cultural aspect of the time period. So I wanted to
you the historian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And then so I started doing research. What was out, who was out, what were people wearing, things of that nature, what show was on TV, what movie was out. And then I kind of started curating my pieces from there.
Okay.
So the first show, I had a limited set of paintings due to the time crunch, because we did we kind of squeezed that in out of the blue. So thanks to Sarah, we were able to squeeze in 1 month. So we did what we could with that. But this time I was like, all right, let's bring it back and really expand on it the way we intended to the first time. So going all out with that, movies, events, programming, the whole nine. So
I love that. I didn't get a call. I was 3 when 1994 happened. So
I would love
something.
Am I supposed to pull my old man rank at this point?
Yep.
Because I'm actually really curious to know, and I know we'll get into it, how you perceived 1994, because I was a senior in high school in 1994. So I'm interested to hear your perspective on it, because maybe I lived 1994. But no, seriously. Yeah, I'm very interested. So how did you all just arrive at the concept? Because it sounded like it came about pretty quickly. Like you guys were like 1994. Like why did that, immediately kind of jump into action?
So when I first met Lize, it was like I was planning a show on my own, right? And then I didn't know what to name it. I was like, I don't even know where to begin. Where should I go? And then I was like, how about where I actually began?
Yeah.
1994.
Okay.
And
that was a bar right there.
yeah, I try. And then it was like real aligned, because Erica was like, shoot, I was born in 1994 too. I said,
when are your birthdays?
February 18th.
And June 27th.
So Aquarius, Cancer.
Okay.
And we already shared similar interests, and especially with the culture in 94. I was more so centered around the music. Like I loved the musicians. They were my inspiration. And that's what also helped me derive from 1994, that name.
Okay.
Just because those are my inspirations. It's where I began. And then when I realized we shared similarities and I loved her work when I first met her, I was like, how about we do this together? Let's make this a joint thing. And that's how we got with the year, because people were asking us that first show too, like, what do y'all really know about the 90s? Y'all were just born in the 90s. And I'm like, well, it inspired and shaped us as artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I, know what it tastes like, smells like. I know I didn't experience it in that fashion, but it's like, if you do the research, I mean, you can know anything.
Yeah.
No.
Of course, I would rather talk to the people that lived it to give me those that insight for sure. You know.
I mean, listen, if you're paying homage to yourself, why not to the year you were born, the year you were created?
Exactly.
So.
And then, you know, my parents were teenagers at the time, so you know, I went to my dad's high school graduation. Like,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, wow.
you know, my mom was in college, so.
So your parents are Jay's age, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's dig into like, you know.
Wait, because we haven't even. We collaborated. I'm like, well, what did you do? We don't even know what he's done yet.
Sure.
Well, I do a lot of black and white pencil work. And so it's like the opposite of what Erica does. So it's like, let's come together and make something that's like two different worlds. So I was just doing the more, I don't want to say bland, but like on that side of things. And then it'll get real colorful when you see her work. And so that's what I contributed, just black and white portraiture.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So what, from your perspective, are some of the artists, honestly, that just stood out to you from 1994? When you say that these artists and musicians shaped you, like who were some of the ones that really guided you?
Main inspiration, what I always say all the time, we brainstorming is Outkast. I love Outkast.
One of my favorites.
Calm down. Calm down.
No. Raise the energy.
Hold on. So you go first, and I'm gonna throw it back at you because this is actually okay. Please tell me more.
So Southern Playlist, the Cadillac Music dropped 1994. You know, it was critically acclaimed, and they were still young too. They were just high
17,
school.
my age.
And it actually shifted the culture where it came to people paying attention to the South when they went to the Source Awards and all that off that album. And it also inspired me a lot. I love the Southern rap scene. That's where I really got into the music from, the Southern aspects, you know.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah, she's already she's ready to be annoyed, but yeah. So I went to school, undergrad. I left in 1995 to go to Atlanta.
Okay.
And one of my greatest memories, because I am as big of an Outkast fan as you can be, is, so imagine this, right? Knowing what you know and love what you love, right? So I'd already been a fan of Southern Playlistic, and I get down there my freshman year, and they're dropping ATLians, right? Now, here's the experience. I'm sitting in the cafeteria in school, right?
Yeah.
And everybody knows that V103 is about to drop Elevators, right? Cafeteria, HBCU, always super loud, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody gets quiet. And like you hear the song for the first time, and everyone heard Andre's verse and was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I was able to be in the South right when all of that was happening. So it shaped me even at the age of 17, 18 tremendously. So I love that you said that. You know what I'm saying? Outkast is everything. So
that had to be crazy.
Yep.
You know, they produced that track too.
Yes.
So I was like, I think that was the first one they produced.
No, the Dungeon Family.
But I mean, them two specifically produced that one.
I did not know that, but there you go. This is why they're as good as they are. You know. Yeah. So from your end, like what from 1994 really, you know, speaks to you?
Honestly, I like going for the more obscure heads. Not obscure, but like I would say to this day, they don't get the recognition it just do. So I know they put out 2 albums, but I love Janae, clearly, as you see. Me in the embroidered shirt. I love Janae. That first album was everything. And Jerrell the Damager.
Yes.
The sun rises in the east.
Yes.
You know, Biggie is a given. That's when Aaliyah dropped her first album, although, you know, under precarious circumstances. But nevertheless, that was her debut and she made her mark that way. Nas, you know, Illmatic, you know, it's a given, you know, Organized Confusion. They dropped.
How did you find these more, like, I'm not surprised that you know Jerrell the Damager, but as you know, he wasn't like one of the mainstream guys. He's one of the super pure hip hop guys. So how did you stumble upon these ones?
I've been listening to Jerrell for a while now.
You just found it and stuck with it.
Yeah, I was, well, as y'all know, I rap too. So I was.
Yes, she does.
Right.
So I was, the people I was dwelling amongst at the time, I was learning from. And they put me on. And so I did a deep dive, and I've been kind of staying on that wave ever since, like just listening to them, delving into Busta Rhymes, Redman's album that year was crazy.
Mhm.
You know, I know he don't like that album, but I don't care. I like that album. So, you know, it's just in my nature. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I never heard this album. I'll give it a listen later. It could be 1960. I'm like, all right, I'll listen to it later.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I just kind of come back. I try to keep up. I'm more about like trying to maintain a balance between then and now, but those were the predecessors. That's the foundation. So I'm always go back.
Absolutely.
Can you rap?
No, I don't rap.
Is that like nah, because you don't want people to know and you really can, or you really can't?
Nah, I won't be in the studio now.
Okay. Okay. So what else about 1994 aside from music? If you did that type of research as well, like were there styles, were there movies and things, like what other parts of 1994 really helped with this project?
Well, since you brought up style, fashion is big point in it as well. You know, the gaudy jewelry or the big fashion. I mean, the fur coats, different what else? A lot of big campy is what the word I can go for. You think of Slick Rick, how he's like wore all these. He was real extra about everything he'd done. The baggy clothes. So fashion was definitely influenced. And when we think about movies and other media that was created around that time, what was the focus? There was a lot of forward, I'd say, Black movies and TV shows. They were really focused on our culture as individuals. And it's funny because we think that there wasn't any focus on that for all these times. We're like, where's all of our recognition as Black people? And it was like real niche back then, but they would just get shut down or wouldn't get the funding that they needed, so they wouldn't last too long, or they'll be buried in history. Like shoot, the Fresh Prince was around 94. I think they started in 93, 92. And movies like Menace to Society, other things like that. But then of course people only look at them for the what was so easy to catch, the low-hanging fruit that came from those films. But the true message in them were what also inspired a lot for 94. And we also incorporated that through our programming this time around. Because last time we didn't really have much of that going on. We just did the show and the talk. And that back then it was just really about, I was inspired by musicians. But we're expanding on it now this time around. So the way I seen it, I was like, the first installment was what I did. And the second one was more towards Erica's vision, how she wanted to encapsulate 94 more than just the musicians, like incorporate everything else. So I'll segue it into her so she can speak about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the fashion's been a big portion too. We did we went thrifting, you know.
True.
You know, looking.
You didn't call me.
You should have called me. I probably got stuff up in the attic, all kinds of 94, 95, 96. I got the Charlotte Hornets, you know what I'm saying? So,
it was, you know, just wanted to go bigger, better, you know, expand. So from, you know, Coogee to Nautica, you know, Carhartt, the Timbs, the Jordans, the Ewings, the Barclays, the Pennies, like you name it, like we were looking for it.
Y'all need to get an Olin Mills photo shoot done. Y'all need to go to JCP and get you an Olin Mills.
You got the one face here in the head over
there. You need glamour shots.
No, for real.
So I love how you guys are talking about what you've researched and what came out in 1994. What feelings do you get when you're looking at all of these examples of what came out during that time and what happened during that time? Like for me, when I think about the early 2000s, I get like butterflies and chills because I think about the Tamagotchi things. I think about gel pens and the lip glosses with the fruit on the front of them, but they were all the same.
Yes.
So I get really nostalgic.
Chinese slippers.
Don't. I'm still trying to recover from that. But what feelings do y'all get when you're going back in time?
Nostalgia is definitely one. That's the main one. But I also feel like it's a lot more sacred. Everything from back then. It could just be me with some rose-colored tinted glasses or whatever. But it feels a lot more sacred. Things weren't done just for the money or like cash grabs or just trying to do it because it was trendy. Of course, trends exist throughout all times, but it was more true to everyone's nature. Like they would put a piece of work out because they really felt that way and wanted to do it. Nowadays, it's kind of lost. So looking back on it, it's like, okay, so this feeling isn't lost on us all the time. You know, it's like, it's real good to see that in all of the different artists, different mediums who all wanted to express themselves truly instead of just creating for a money grab or be famous.
Yeah.
So it really just, I don't know, I guess you could say it fills my heart to see it be so sacred. You know?
So how, yes, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with DeVaughn. It definitely feels sacred. There's just something very enriching about it, especially because I know a lot of those artists back then were very young. And the amount of soul and passion behind what they did. I think like Faith Evans dropped in 95. She was like, what? Like early, yes, early 20s. And I just think about how much we revere like Tupac and Biggie, and they were 24 and 25 when they both passed. So
that's still insane to me.
You know, and they're revered like such, you know. They were much older. Like you know, they lived like so much.
Like how
so
we
fast.
revere Jay-Z and Nas now.
Yes.
They would then like
and we still talking about them. I can't think. I mean, I can't count how many documentaries and things like Who Killed Tupac, like all the time, like just talking about his life over and over. They're running through the interviews. They're post, you know, and every now and again, people are coming out with hidden gems, like photos nobody's ever seen before, videos nobody's ever seen before.
Even now with Demure being a trending word, there's a footage of Tupac saying Demure back in '95 that resurfaced now. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
that's
wow.
funny, that's funny.
Now you need to make a shirt with Tupac saying Demure.
Yeah.
Like,
good idea.
You heard it here.
Again.
Go ahead, Jay.
So how does the art that will be displayed at the event reflect 1994? Like, what will people see, and what will it, you know, how will they see the connection?
You want to go? I'll go. Well, with me, I do a lot of portrait work, so they'll be familiar with the faces, I'd say.
Okay.
Just the different figures and also the clothes that they'll be wearing in the imaging, and I tried to put a little nostalgic filter on it, what I was drawing, some things, you know, try to make it feel like it was dated a bit, but yeah, you'll like right when you see certain faces, you'll be like, okay, it'll take you back. It'll be like a time machine when you look into the show. So when you just see all the different looks and even just installations that we're going to be working on too as well, like relics from the past, basically, things like that. The vinyl that'll be displayed.
Yeah.
We really want to be like a time capsule. When you walk in, you feel like you're in a different place. Like just a full experience. So those things will definitely transfer you back to the 90s. For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a time capsule because I plan to touch on different aspects from sports to the movies. So I want people to kind of get like a overall view of what was happening versus a centralized focus on one aspect. Because I know it's bigger than, you know, music. It's bigger than, like, I'm thinking about the day to day.
It's
like
a time. Like, it's an experience.
Like everybody going out and get, you know, grabbing the latest. Like I know they was wearing Guess and all those brands. So,
so when you said that you DM'd her or you hit her up and you were like, hey, I want to collaborate. How did you know that this was going to work? Like the two of you collaborating was going to work?
I don't think we did.
Let's just say it was all vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she cool. Real cool.
Yeah. It was cool. It was just like, we got to just figure out how to get it done. I think that's the biggest thing. It was about getting it done because of the time. And I know we can both be perfectionists. So I feel like if we wait around too long, it probably won't get done. So I was just like, all right, if we really want to do this year, we need to find a space and figure out the rest from there. Like, it's kind of just following through. I think it's just the biggest thing is following through. So and we saw that it did work. So I was like, let's bring it back, especially now that we're 30 this year. So
oh gosh.
So give us all the details about the when, the where, and all that kind of stuff for the actual show.
All right.
Please.
Actual show. It's going to be at MKT Gallery. that's where we had the first installment. So we're doing the second installment in the same location.
Okay.
Full circle.
And it's going to be November 1st for the opening show. And we'll have other dates for different programming. That's all aligned and on our landing page as well.
Okay.
It's from 6 to 9, the opening show.
6 to 9 p.m.
Okay, you gonna rap?
I wasn't planning on that.
That's a lot.
You're not gonna bring some of that 90s nostalgia?
I gotta say something for later. You don't have to say.
All right, that's fine. I'll hold off for now. So, are you from Delaware?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Middletown.
Okay, born and bred.
Well, no. So, I just moved around a little bit as a youngster, but I just say I'm from Middletown. I was there since middle school.
Okay, and you're primarily portrait pencil.
Yeah.
So why not color?
I don't know. See, I play around with color here and there, and I'm actually also learning more about oil painting behind the scenes. But it's just something about just getting the raw values right and everything. It just, I don't know. I guess it scratches that itch for me.
No, I've recently gotten into photography, and there's definitely something that's, I don't want to say more pure, but when you strip everything down to black and white photography, it kind of simplifies and makes things more raw in a certain way.
Yeah, really.
And there's some nostalgia to it too, I think. But like, there's just something that, because you don't have to maybe focus on color, you concentrate more in terms of your creativity, in terms of what the viewer sees. I feel like just on like the composition and like those factors.
And playing with lighting, you can just guide someone's eyes to where you want it to go, or change the emotion of anything. You can do that with color too, but that's just like how emotional it can feel and be. Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, what advice can you give someone who wants to come but wants to dress as the theme? What are some simple pieces that they could get at a thrift store or in a local, regular store that would say 90s aesthetic?
Anything oversized.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not talking 2000s big white tee. Not that oversized, but
too much.
like maybe your pants is 2 sizes too big, or then I know they be tucking in their
what's funny about that is that because that's my space, it literally has taken me decades to buy clothes that actually fit, because my whole perception of clothing, because I'm from that space, is I want my stuff baggy. My shorts, like when I finally bought a pair of shorts that like was above the knee, I was like, I feel naked. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's funny you say that, because that is how I'm geared, and I have to like no, actually that is too big and it doesn't fit according to modern times. But like that's how I'm geared, is I want it baggy and sagging, and I feel comfortable. And it's
Lord. Well, for one night, Jay.
Yeah,
I can go back. Right.
One night.
And if you come to the programming events, feel free to
and pull out your Timbs.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yes, indeed.
So oversized, anything oversized, what else?
I'd say big logos, because in the 90s, people who bought the clothes had to be the walking billboard due to like lack of technology. So a lot of the logos was real big and big embroidery. What else is 90s based?
A fly sneaker or boot.
Okay.
Timbs, Eastlands.
Okay.
Jays, like I said, the Barclays, the Pennies, the Ewings.
Do you know what thrift stores did you go to?
They were all in like the DMV area. We was in DC and PG County.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I love that. Okay. All right. If I could throw something in there, dark lipstick with the dark liner.
Oh yeah.
Finger waves. If you're that type of girly. Jay, anything you'd like to add?
I'm trying to really remember, because from my end,
Letterman jackets.
Well, see, that's East Coast 94. You know what I'm saying?
That's where we at.
No, but he said the first thing he said was Outcast. So Southern fashion was different than East Coast, and West Coast was different.
Yeah.
So I might pull up, because I was growing up, I was heavily influenced by all the West Coast and Southern stuff. So I might pull up in khakis.
Okay.
And I might pull up in I don't know what you call them, but like the oversized sort of flannel button down that was buttoned all the way to the top, because that was West Coast 90s fashion. You know what I'm saying?
It's still 94, so.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it could vary. Is my
We're
point.
gonna get it together.
Because one thing, and
We're
I'm
gonna get
being
it
an old man now, is like, you got to remember that this was a really great, that 94 for like the next 6 years up until maybe 2000 there was still regional hip hop. So every location had their own kind of music. Like Chicago hip hop was very different. You know what I'm saying? Midwest rap was completely different. You know, Do or Die, UGK from Texas. Exactly.
Bone Thugs dropped it here
No,
too.
and they dressed different.
I don't know who they
Their slang was different. So if you do a deep dive, like
that's what they're for. I'm going to be educated.
But I'm kind of doing it now. But like, when I was in Atlanta, so my crew was specifically from Oakland, Houston, and Atlanta. They told me, dog, we don't do Timbs. That's not what we do. That's an East Coast thing.
But they were in
We don't say yo. We say dog. So don't bring that yo shit over here. You know what I'm saying? So those regional things made it very different.
I just want y'all to know I'm gonna get really annoyed with Jay during this exhibition. So if y'all see us separate in the room, there's a reason why.
So if I come in with khakis and chucks, you know what I'm saying? That's why.
I can bring my inhaler because I'm gonna get real annoyed. Well, y'all, November 1st at MKT Gallery. Come and experience 1994 like you've never had before. Let's pay homage to all of the things that happened in and around 1994, and also give flowers to these amazing artists who are giving us this opportunity to go back in time. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Boom. See y'all later.